Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Rohan Biju, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the Samsung Odyssey G30D. So I got this from Best Buy for around $150, which is down from its original price of $230. And for the features you get, it's pretty much a steal. So today we're gonna cover everything from the unboxing, we're gonna talk about the physical specs, the display specs, and then finally, I'm gonna give you my final thoughts and my final score for this monitor. So before we begin this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to watch more future content like this. Like this video if you found this helpful, and comment any questions or concerns, and I'll try my best to answer them. So without further ado, let's go straight to the unboxing. So you get the standard beige Samsung monitor box, and let's pop it open. Inside, we've got the base of the monitor, which is part plastic and part metal. Then there's the neck, which feels like durable plastic and has a small silicone piece for wire management. There's also the signature blue translucent plastic ring that comes standard with most Odyssey monitors for that aesthetic touch. Next up, we've got the cables. You got both the power brick and the power cable. Then you've got both a DisplayPort cable and an HDMI cable, which is awesome to see at this price point. And of course, there's the usual paperwork. Underneath all of that, we finally get the monitor itself. It's a sleek looking display with that typical Odyssey build. It feels a bit lighter than most monitors I've reviewed before, and without further ado, let's just go right ahead and start assembling it. First, you connect the base and the neck, then you screw them together until it feels stable. After that, you slide the neck into the back of the monitor until you hear a satisfying click. Then you take the two pieces of the blue ring, snap them near the seam between the neck and the body, and then you push down and twist until it locks into place. Now you can stand the monitor upright and you're pretty much set to start gaming. Awesome, so that was pretty much it for both the unboxing as well as setup. Now let's talk specifically about the physical specs. The Samsung Odyssey G30D has a 27-inch matte screen, and the overall build of the monitor follows the same matte black futuristic design that looks sleek and professional, just like the other Odyssey monitors in this lineup. One of the first things you'll notice is the three-sided borderless design, which gives it a super clean look and makes it perfect if you're planning to run a dual monitor setup. The monitor weighs around 9.7 pounds, so it's easy to move around. It also supports 100 by 100 VESA mount, so if you're not a fan of the given stand, you can definitely use a monitor arm. The stand itself has a V shape that doesn't take up too much desk space, but still keeps everything nice and stable. There's also a small silicone tab on the neck of the monitor for cable management. It's not ideal if you're going for a super clean desk setup, but it does help keep things somewhat organized. In terms of ergonomics, this monitor is great. You can adjust the height, tilt, swivel, and even pivot the monitor into portrait mode, which is awesome if you're looking to use it as a secondary monitor. Awesome, so now let's talk about connectivity. In terms of ports, you've got a power port, a 3.5mm audio out port, one HDMI 2.0 port, one DisplayPort 1.4 port, and a service port. There's also a little joystick under the monitor that you can use to navigate the menu system, which is amazing, just like every other Odyssey monitor. And the overall navigation using the joystick is way easier and less confusing than using a bunch of buttons I've seen on other monitors. One thing to note is that the monitor doesn't come with built-in speakers, so if you want sound, you'll need headphones or external speakers. Honestly, that's not a big deal breaker for me, especially considering the price and overall quality you're getting for this monitor. But overall, with the physical build of the monitor, it is a little flimsy with the plastic, but that's what you get for the price. It isn't damaging in any way, but there is some leeway when you push into the plastic. But overall, the build is solid. And if you're not planning to touch it, move it around, or use it really harshly, this is a great affordable monitor. So that's pretty much it for the physical specs. Now let's talk specifically about the display specs and its qualities. The Samsung Odyssey G30D features a 27-inch VA panel with a full HD resolution of 1920 by 1080p. I'll be honest, I would have preferred an IPS panel for the better color accuracy and viewing angles, but VA panels are what you usually get at this price point. VA panels do have their drawbacks like ghosting and smearing in fast moving scenes, but from my personal experience using this monitor for over 30 hours, there really wasn't anything severe enough to ruin the gaming experience. I was actually pretty impressed with how it performed, and the overall viewing experience definitely holds up against some of the more expensive monitors reviewed on this channel. The response time of this monitor is advertised at 1 millisecond, but in real world use, it's a bit slower than what you'd usually get from an IPS panel. You might also notice some color shifting if you're viewing from extreme angles. That said, the VA panel gives you a much better contrast ratio of 3000 to 1, which means you get deeper blacks and more vibrant images, especially in darker scenes. And that's something IPS panels usually can't match. But there are some issues in terms of light bleed. So if you have a uniform black screen, you will notice some areas that are brighter than most. It does get distracting at a certain point, especially if you're watching a cinematic. You can clearly see that some areas are brighter than the others, and that is one of the major drawbacks of this monitor. monitor. The refresh rate for this monitor is awesome, and it's at 180 Hz, making this a solid choice for fast-paced competitive gaming. It also covers 95% of the sRGB color gamut, which is great for gaming and even casual content creation. It also supports HDR10 too, but keep in mind the brightness caps at 250 nits. You're not getting a full HDR experience like you would with high-end displays. This monitor also comes with AMD FreeSync Premium to help prevent screen tearing. There's a black equalizer feature that brightens up dark areas in games without making the whole screen look washed out, which helps a ton in spotting enemies in shadows. For FPS players, there's even a virtual aim point feature that adds a crosshair overlay for a bit of an aiming edge. You also get an eye saver mode to reduce blue light, and you also get flicker-free technology to help minimize eye strain during long sessions. So I've been using this monitor for both PC right over there, and I've also been using it for console. So in terms of console gaming, this monitor works pretty well with the PS5, but there are a few limitations. The HDMI 2.0 port does support 120 Hz, which is great, but since the quality of this monitor isn't a 4K display, you're limited to a 1080p resolution. So while you won't get the full visual quality the PS5 can offer, the high refresh rate still gives you smooth gameplay. Just remember there is no inbuilt speakers, which means that you'll need a headset or external speaker for sound. PC gamers will definitely get the most out of this monitor since you can tap into the full 180 Hz refresh rate with the DisplayPort as well as HDMI cable. Awesome, so that was pretty much it for the display specs. So now let's move on to my final thoughts and my final score for the Samsung Odyssey G30D. Overall, I really enjoyed my experience with this monitor. Coming from using a high-end Asus TUF monitor, the G30D was such an interesting experience. I think I went in thinking I would have to sacrifice a lot of quality, and I was quite surprised that I didn't have to sacrifice a lot. I played games like Marvel Rivals, Expedition 33, Balatro, Oblivion, and so much more. I didn't feel like I was playing on a more affordable gaming monitor. The only major downside for me, and also a lot of people who might be purchasing this monitor, is the fact that it is a 27-inch display with a 1080p resolution, which might not be appealing for most people. Unless you're looking for a 4K display, you might have to pay more money. But if you are looking for a more affordable display, maybe this could be your secondary display, this is a really good monitor for that price point. And the second thing is that the screen itself has a lot of bleed and a lot of blotching, which isn't really great and could be distracting. Personally, since I play in darker settings, you can clearly see certain areas highlighted, which is a little bit of a downside for me. But apart from that, the experience for this monitor is amazing. I've been playing at 180 Hz, games look stunning, contrast is great, and colors are popping. But apart from that, this monitor is pretty much phenomenal for $150. If you were buying it at the original price of $230, maybe I would recommend to look for something in the 4K range. Probably spend a little bit more, not too much, but you will get a decent monitor. 4K, maybe the same refresh rate, maybe less, but you will probably have a better experience there. But if you're looking for this monitor and you get it for $150, that is a really good deal. But in the end, if you're both a casual or a competitive gamer, I would recommend this monitor. So in the end, the final score I would give the Samsung Odyssey G30D is an 88 out of 100. It is a great monitor for the price at $150, which I personally got, and that's what I'm reviewing this from perspective of. But in the end, there are some minor flaws, but the overall experience is phenomenal. You could use this as a secondary monitor. You could also use this as a primary monitor if you are in a tight budget. But overall, I enjoyed my experience with this monitor. And as always, I've left unaffiliated links below if you want to go ahead and purchase this monitor. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you want to watch more future content like this. Like this video if you found this helpful, and comment any questions or concerns or recommendations for monitors you want me to review, and I'd be happy to do them. So thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.